What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and once again I'm here with
Gersh1.
And today we're back at it, bringing you more answers to your questions in another slightly more of us for the greater.
Does that mean that there's ghosts in the room?
I was just saying that because for like the past, not two, but the last 6, 7, last week, we weren't in those videos.
Yeah.
And this week we are. And surprisingly, like some of the comments were like, "Oh, you guys are showing your face again. I don't like this." And then when we don't show your face, it's like, "Oh, I miss you guys. Where are you at?"
Yeah, that's true.
It's like, dang, you can't keep anybody happy.
Nope, there's always a loud minority that's trying to put you down.
Yeah. It's like you always want what you can't have. And when you got it, you don't know what you got.
Until it's gone.
Easy.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was Lil Wayne. But.
Probably was. So you have to be more raspy. This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put question in front of your question because we get those questions first. And that is what...
The Damned Fox 38 has said and done. He says, "What happened to the traitor legions after the battle for Terra and their homeworlds?"
So after the battle for Terra, there was the great scouring that happened. So all the loyalists that were basically, well, space wolves. So like they were coming to reinforce Terra, and then the traitors realized that, and they're like, "Yeah, we need to get out of here."
Most of them fled into the Eye of Terror, but I think there was like 2 of them that didn't. The Night Lords, and there was one more, I think.
Not all the way. Some of them did. I think like so after Horus died, like they realized that the legions were like super fractured, and everybody kind of did their own thing. Mm-hmm. So that's where you get all these war bands, and that's why like you have Primarchs like Magnus the Red, Mortarion that are out there, and yet their legions still broke up. Mm-hmm. And the reason for that is the Great Scouring. So the Great Scouring, like all these loyalist Space Marines are like, all right, now it's us. It's time for us to clap back. Mm-hmm. And they did. They did so hard that, like, you know how the Loyalists had the Codex Astartes that broke up the legions? The Traitors just had, like, all-out war between themselves, mm-hmm. trying to not get murdered by their Loyalist brethren and stuff like that. So,
right, yeah.
It was a good time. It was a time of a lot of fighting. Also, like, their homeworlds, most of them were turned into quarantine worlds. Mm-hmm. So check out our 40 facts on quarantine worlds or forbidden planets.
Yeah, I heard that in these quarantine worlds, they were suffering through trying times.
I don't get that one.
No, because like when we were going through quarantine with like all the COVID stuff, like every like commercial was like, "I know these are trying times."
Oh, yes.
In your trying times, do this and stuff like that. It's like, damn, just stop using that phrase.
What's crazy to me is that there are still places in like the world that are going through it right now.
Because it evolves. Thanks, Nurgle.
Thanks.
And Pokemon.
And Isha, because Isha's kind of like the guinea pig. Mm-hmm. So if you kill the guinea pig, then you can't experiment.
That's true. And there's only one guinea pig like that.
Isha.
Mm-hmm. Except if you go to New Guinea and get a pig there. Are those considered guinea pigs?
No, they're considered pygmy pigs.
I'm scared of pygmies.
I'm scared of pigs.
This next one is by Sejanus. Why did GW shotgun the ends of Korax, Vulcan, Khan, and Russ's stories? The others are all part of a greater storyline or definitive ends with purpose and meaning. They shotgunned them, or they were brought to an abrupt halt because they're meant to come back to those storylines later on. The Khan fled into the webway to fight against the
Dark
Eldar and Kamara and stuff like that, and then you don't hear about it because they'll get to that storyline later on when they decide to bring back the Khan. Same thing with Leman Russ, he'll come back at the end times or the wolf times.
But I think GW did fuck up by doing that, because then if he does come back, then
it's the end times. Yeah, Vulcan comes back when the 9 relics are gathered, which I think they've got like 3 or 4.
Right.
And what was the other one? The Khan, Leman Russ, Vulcan. Oh, Korax. When he's done listening to My Chemical Romance, so he'll show up.
Yeah, he's going through things.
As we all are.
Yeah, that's true. This next question comes from Chris Bartek. Since the Emperor is becoming a god in the warp, does that mean that the loyalist Primarchs in the warp are turning into demon princes? No,
No.
because they're still doing their own thing, being loyal to the purity that is their gene thing.
We'll go with that.
Yeah, no mutations.
Nah. David Eller. First of all, start showing your faces again. See? What did I say? Make this all seem like more of a conversation that way. Second, did the Emperor genuinely love or care for any of his sons, or were they just tools of which he happened to have a few favorites in?
Both.
Yeah. Obviously, Horus was his favorite. They were bros. They got each other's back during the beginning of the Great Crusade. That was the first Primarch that he reclaimed after Chaos. Them all through the galaxy.
Flicked them.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if it was like this or like this, but they got flicked.
Probably like this.
And that's a lot.
Then.
For the lost and the forgotten Primarchs.
Yeah.
But yeah, he did have his favorites. But at the end of the day, I think they were all still a means to an end. They were all tools. That kind of sucks, though.
Yeah, but that's like he did that for the Thunder Warriors. Right. He did that that's what he knew.
Yeah, that's how it was. But I mean, just imagine if you were a Primarch and you knew your dad was just using you to a means of an end.
Kind of is.
Would you right? Would you turn Chaos? Some like during your teenage years, you do.
Yep.
That's why Corax is still listening to My Chemical Romance.
Yep.
And why we all went through like our emo days with guy liner and painting our nails black and wearing chains on our wallets attached to our pants.
Yep, with Janko jeans.
Mm-hmm.
It happened.
Roar XD was felt in my heart.
Next question comes from Robert O. Driscoll. Wait, what does Gersh do for a living? I'm missing that. I missed that. I'm relatively new to the channel, but I am also a fellow Chicagoan. So we're not actually from Chicago. We are from Illinois. So we are. What is that called?
Illinoisians.
I thought it was a line.
Illini.
Yeah.
I thought that's only if you go to that school.
Oh, I thought it was if. Oh, I don't know. We're from Illinois.
Yeah, we in the what's it called? The
hood.
No, because there's what is it, the corn belt of the USA? Is that a thing?
No, yes, the corn belt is a thing, but I don't think
we're part of that.
We're part of that, yeah.
Dang, we don't even know where we're from.
We don't.
Sad.
Yeah.
What? There's a new Chucky movie coming out?
Is he in space?
No, that's Jason X.
Chucky was in space too, wasn't he? Or was that the Leprechaun?
No, he was in the hood.
My stomach in Chicago.
Was he?
No, Chicago was pretty awesome. I think that what's funny is that there's like whenever you leave Illinois,
mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people that, like you say, you're from Chicago, so like they have
a stigma.
Yeah. And you say that just because like it's easier for people to be like, oh, you're from there, instead of actually giving your town, because they're not gonna know where the fuck you're actually from.
Right.
So, but it is funny that they have a stigma, and no, Chicago's actually pretty chill. Yeah.
Oh, I guess so there's an ad on my phone playing right now about the Chucky movie, and it's like he's a high schooler and he's bringing a doll to school.
Yeah.
What high schooler does that?
There was a dude that would do that in my high school. He would also get like coconuts, and then he would run around like clicking them. Yeah, so it sounded like there was a horse coming down the hallway.
Dang, Paul Revere.
Yeah.
Dang, he reincarnated.
That actually comes from one of those movies. What is it called?
Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
No,
I've never
there's
seen that one.
There's like a series of Monty Python. Yeah. That's where it comes from.
Ah, so he's got good taste in comedy.
Kind of, but he carried a doll around.
Was it a Chucky doll?
No, it was just like a weird doll. I don't know. Next question comes from Justice777 Fool. Which name character would drop the hottest mixtape?
Probably Kabanda. Because, like, he takes names and he sits on a throne of skulls. So, I mean, and he's a bloodthirster of corn, so he's got to be spitting heat.
That's true. You know what? Because the industry is full of like very like powerful women. You have Doja Cat. You have what's the other one? Megan Thee Stallion. You have Cardi B. I think. What's the Dark Eldar chick? Lilith.
The Hesperax.
Yeah, she would drop the best mixtape. And the videos would be amazing. Because let's all face it, we watch Doja Cat for the videos.
And she's already got like BDSM like attire on.
She does, yeah.
She's very acrobatic, very lithe.
I feel like she's so like just normal. Doja Cat is.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought Lilith. I'm like, yeah, she's kind of normal.
Yeah,
she likes Dark Elder.
Yeah, she likes murdering things and
Right.
skinning people alive. Next question.
Bullet Magnet 20. If Kroot DNA alters with everything they consume, what do they eat for daily nourishment? Because, like, yeah, you got a point. If they eat berries and nuts, won't they have some, like, berry and nut type?
Berries and cream, berries and cream.
I'm a little lad who loves berries.
No, but they don't. That doesn't happen with everything.
No, it's like they got to eat this
Meat.
or whatever part that they're trying to get for generations, honestly. And it's like sometimes it backfires. Like, oh, they're eating this bird so they could get wings. And it's like, nah, they got beaks now.
Yep.
Or it's like, well, they're devolving. So it's up to the shaper to say what they can and what they can't eat, how much of it, etc.
Yeah. And they're supposed to be there to like pull the reins back on like, yeah.
It's like, whoa, Kroot number 452 has 6 toes now. Let's not eat that frog anymore.
Yeah. This this next question comes from Aria816. How large is the Death Watch? Because I don't imagine they have 1,000 members. And after 10,000 years, do you think there are any remaining members of the Death Watch from the Traitor Legions from the Horus Heresy era? So, yeah, because remember that these Battle Brothers are second from different Space Marine chapters, and sometimes they second like multiple Battle Brothers.
Right, so you could have like 20 from the Blood Angels, 30 from the Space Wolves, and then each one goes into a different squad. So
yeah,
it's easier in that way to get 1,000 Marines.
Oh yeah, and there's normally 1,000 chapters that exist at any given time, anyways.
Right. So if one Marine from every chapter gets sent, boom, 1,000.
Yeah. My stomach is growling. I hope you guys didn't hear that. And then as for the second part, what was the second part? Shit.
Oh, any Marines from the Heresy still there?
Probably not, but if you want to like do homebrew lore, you can do it. I feel like you can.
Yeah. Like there's this very old, grizzled, like Tyranid veteran warrior. He knows the Tyranids inside and out. But that wouldn't make sense because there weren't Tyranids back in the 30K era.
There also wasn't the Death Watch.
True.
Because they come from the Ordo.
Right. Or maybe you could say like the last Marine from like, I don't know, Blood Angels.
It could be a Black Shield. So it's like one of those situations where it's like the Death Watch was created to protect that area. And then they're calling for Space Marine assistance, and they know of a Space Marine, a solo Space Marine that's been like basically crusading on his own. He's actually a Black Shield, a traitor from the Horus Heresy era, that is somehow like found a fortress and is chilling out at the fortress, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a stretch, but you could do it.
And it's like Death Watch are kind of made to fight against Xenos.
Yeah.
So like you kind of want to incorporate that into the lore somehow.
Yeah.
Maybe he's like an expert orc hunter or something like that, because the fortress that he's been staying on is on an orc inhabited world.
Yeah. Also remember that like the warp has the ability to mess with time. So you could do like a Lysander situation where there was a loyalist unit from a traitor legion that went into the warp during the Horus Heresy. They exited like in the modern era or in like the 32nd millennium or something like that. And now they got second to the Death Watch just because their original chapter turned traitor and nobody wants to speak to it.
Right.
Yeah. Ooh, you hear that?
Yeah, it's like somebody's pouring water in a cup. Desert Hat says, now I'm new to 40K, and I want to know where I can buy novels or comics in the physical form.
Barnes & Noble?
Yeah, they've got the novels at least. I don't think I've seen comics there. Your local comic book shop should have the comics.
In our area, it's Graham Cracker Comics.
Yeah.
So if you're from the Chicagoland area.
I do know that sometimes they do get bought out, especially if it's variants, because of like the art on the cover and stuff like that. So you might have to pre-order that.
Mm-hmm. Also, hobby shops.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't necessarily have to be a
local GW. You could just be like a hobby store.
Yep. And then also, surprisingly, like Target has been carrying like 40K content,
right,
or 40K products.
Yes. But the easiest, Amazon, eBay, online.
Yeah. Secondhand bookstores too. I've gotten a lot of Codex, Codices from there.
This one's by Dragon Punch 903. If they are called the Fallen, why don't they just get up?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I think maybe their armor's too heavy and they got bad knees, bad backs, since they're usually from like the older era of 40K. They probably can't get fully all the way up. They haven't taken the blue pill yet, so
yeah,
they're still groggy.
This next question comes from Return Fire. Why did my question got sucked into the warp? I was wondering on the last video, why did Gilliman don't seem interested in taking back some form of power over the Imperium since he is the only heir to the Big E? P.S. Can't wait to see you guys back in the video. That's a good question. And it's because Gilliman knows that, like, the Emperor's role... Well, Gilliman spoke to the Emperor. Mm-hmm. So we don't really know what they said, but more than likely it was like, hey, let humanity continue running itself, because that's what I wanted from the beginning. Mm-hmm. You are just a military dude, and the Cicatrice Maledictum just happened. The Imperium got split in two, so please handle that before you go out and try to, like, become... a leader. Mm-hmm. And also, it's not necessarily that he's the heir to the Imperium. He's just a really powerful
dude.
Yeah. And a tactician.
This next one comes from none other than the Primarch himself, Alfarius. If you guys could have dinner and or get drunk with a 40K character, either currently alive or dead, who would it be and why? Similarly, if you could go on a date with a 40K character, who? And do you think you guys could get lucky afterwards? If y'all are curious about my answer, I would enjoy hanging out with Cyphus Kane because he seems like he knows how to party. And he probably has the best stories about his adventures. As for going on a date, I'd either pick Saint Celestine or Amberly Vale, the Inquisitor from the Kane series. Actually, why pick either? It's my fantasy. Go big or go home, so I pick both. A threesome with a living saint and an Inquisitor of the Ordo Xenos? What could possibly go wrong?
Damn. You've thought about this before.
Yeah. This has been marinating in your mind for weeks as you fall asleep, and you know what? Good for you.
Yeah. I think I would like to have dinner with the Malkador, the hero, because he's a human. Mm-hmm. I think that'd be kind of cool to just talk to a regular old human.
Yeah.
And also we would get Brazilian barbecue, because I've never been to a Brazilian barbecue place. Have you?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, so I think we would really enjoy all that meat.
The last time I had barbecue, I don't want to talk about it.
Why?
You know.
And then what was the other one?
Who would you go take on a date, and do you think you could get lucky with that person?
Okay.
Place or thing.
Probably Slanesh.
Dang.
And I probably would get lucky because I would get empowered.
Right. Yeah, that's a very good answer, Slanesh. But I think you got mine right away. I would want to go on a date with Saint Celestine, because just to see what exactly like she feels and thinks about the Emperor, and like I feel like that date would be very religious and very eye-opening, because oftentimes we use like, oh, you guys are talking about the Emperor as heresy. It's like, yeah, because like the propaganda is there to push the Emperor's agenda, but then when you look at things, it's like, well, why didn't he do things differently? And I think Saint Celestine would have the answers for me.
True.
Kind of like when you're in church school and then they're feeding you all this information about Jesus and God, and you're like, but, and then they bring in the priest, and I think those questions might get answered better.
Yeah. So she's the priest then?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Would I get lucky? I don't know. Is she in her power armor, or is she wearing casual clothes?
She'd probably be in a power armor, right? She never takes it off. She's a saint.
That's true. But I mean, saints can get resurrected, so why even wear the armor?
That's true. Why not just be naked?
Right. It's like, oh, stab me, do whatever you want to me. I'll come back.
That's true.
Yeah.
There was another part to it.
Oh, the first one. Go out on a... No, the second one was the date. The first one was what?
I already forgot.
Dinner and get drunk with.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I think it'd be interesting to do it with Commander Farsight. Because, I mean, obviously in crazy drunk parties, he's going to be like, whoa, look at my sword. And he's going to actually, like, slash me. I'm like, bro. And then...
Steal your life.
Yeah.
He's also pretty old.
Yeah.
So he probably, like, knows things. Mm-hmm. He probably does coke.
All that warp dust.
Yeah, puts it in his slit.
Yeah, because he doesn't have a nose.
Nope. Not yet.
Yeah.
And those were the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, please comment down below. Thank you guys so much for listening to us, and we'll talk tomorrow.
That's true. That is very true. Sound Alchemist.
Gershwin.
And we are out.
Always used to put my freedom first in any situation.